Well, hello YouTube. This is Jay, and thank you so much for tuning back into my YouTube channel. I have had a wonderful week, and I hope you have too. I'm glad you stopped by so I can share a few things with you and just tell you what's new with me. I hope good things have been what's new with you. And one of the best things, though, during this past week, I've run into so many nice people. And I thought I'd like to give some little shout outs. So now I'm going to try it because I just want them to know how much I enjoy meeting them. And they come up to us in the mall and they talk to us and show us, show interest in what we're doing. And it's just fun. And so the way that I can let them know how much I appreciate it, I let them know about my channel. And then I want to give a little shout out. So, all right, now let's see, can I do it? All right, in the mall the other week, my friend, Judy, and I were sitting there crocheting and knitting and just talking, and a nice lady came up and she said she didn't speak much English, but she recognized what we were doing, and she says that she was a crocheter too. And so we got all excited, and we, started kind of showing her what we were doing, and she started asking us different little questions, and she asked me, she says, do you know Yolanda Soto Lopez? And I said, yay! So that made me so excited. You see, what we do, you don't even have to speak the same language. I said, oh, yes, I watch her all the time. I says, oh, yes. And she says, oh, she watches her. And then she threw out a few other names, and I shared a few of my sites that I like. And, of course, I gave her Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. So, let's see, can I do it? So to my friend Maria, I want to say I was so glad that you stopped. I'm so happy. So to my friend Maria, hola Maria, hola, mucho gusto en conocerte, gracias. So we will just keep watching Yolanda Soto Lopez, and I hope to see you again at the mall. And then, after that, another week, another lady stopped by, and she was so nice, and she saw us sitting there, and now she says, well, I used to crochet, and she says, oh, this makes me want to get started again. And so I want to give a little shout out to BJ from the mall. It's your friend Jason. Hello. And then that wasn't even the end. So then I was over at Joann's buying stuff I didn't need, but hey, what are you going to do with that crazy coupon? You got to get rid of it. And I was standing there looking at some books, and this cute little young girl, pretty blonde hair, tall, and just so cute, she came and she says, do you know anything about knitting and crocheting? And I said, well, yes, I do both. She says, well, my mother taught me when I was smaller, and I'd like to get started again. And I've picked out some yarn, but I don't know about the needles. So I showed her how to read the band, and it would tell you what size it recommends and the hook. And then I took her over to the hooks at Joann's and helped her pick out one and told her, that would be good. And of course, I gave her Jay's Knit and Purl Jam channel to look up. So I want to say a big shout out to Kendall. You go, girl. I know you can crochet. I know you're going to love it. And it's going to look pretty. So, those are my shout outs. Oh, I'm telling you, just meeting people is so much fun. Well, let's get into what else is new, because I've got some things to show you. Well, some of the other things, one more thing too that I wanted to, I think I need to just kind of mention. I went and brought this out so I could show it to you. Well, I was up at our Hancock's Fabric. After that last little sewing gig I did, I thought, I'm not going to sew anymore. I'm going to leave it to the professionals. But you know what? Once it's in you, it's just in you, even if I don't sew that much. But I was up there looking at buttons and yarn and just looking, always looking for things on sale or things that I might bring to my channel. And they had all of this beautiful tulle on sale. I mean, it was like 80 and 50 and 80% off, and it was just a beautiful tool. And I had no idea what I'm going to do with it right now. But just like that bling, you remember the bling I got at Joann's? I'm thinking, oh, I better get it. I can't pass this up. Look at the pretty colors of this tool. Isn't that pretty? This has like a little brocade look. And this is just white with little hearts. I mean, I don't know if they'll show up, but it's just beautiful and silky. This one looks a little more Christmassy with stars, but it's sparkly, has gold. Isn't that pretty? I mean, and I didn't buy that much, maybe like a half a yard of each, because I had no idea. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at, oh, this green. I'm a green person. I love the color green. And then here was one. I need to turn it on the right side so that so the sparkle stands out. It's a little kind of beigey color with black, and it has all the sparkles. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but I couldn't resist. So now I have to challenge myself. I've got to come up with something so that I can show you at YouTube that no, I use what I buy. That's one thing. Yes, I buy. But you see that I try to incorporate it in my knitting or something that I do use it in some fashion or form. So that's so nice. So then I have a new crew. So I'm going to call it the Hancock crew. So I'm going to give another shout out to my Hancock crew. Let's see. There's Margaret. There's Joanne and Vincent. And I thank you so much for encouraging me. I thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I thank you for being my Hancock crew. So I'll be dropping by to come for you to get some ideas and to show you, of course, what I made. And now to get out. Oh, and I didn't buy any yarn. Isn't that great? But I did find a little find. Look at this. I just saw this teapot. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I got some other teapots. Well, it was a price. I happened to go by this wonderful thrift store that run by a large church in our area. And for some reason, I just wandered in on that day, and it was anything, half off, anything $1 or more. Half off. So the teapot wasn't but $1.50, so I got it for 50%. Now, I couldn't leave it, people, please. I just couldn't leave it. Isn't that pretty? And it was brand new because it still had the sticker on it. See? So the teapot was brand new. I don't know how much the original person paid for it. It was never used. Nothing's ever been in it. So I thought, I'm going to have to use it. So you'll see how I used it coming up shortly. Now, I believe that was kind of all. I think I did pick up a new box at Joann's. I like that because it kind of matched the quilt. I thought, oh, that looks really pretty and summery. And this video is mainly, you'll see some of my flowers and my blooming shrubs. So I thought, oh, that goes along with everything I want to show. But even more than that, okay, to get on a little serious note, I have a neighbor, a very young neighbor. We've been, we're blessed that everyone in my neighborhood, we've been here since the beginning. When we built our house, we were like one of the first ones to build on this particular area. There used to be some houses on further down, but in this area. And then it kind of built up. And so there was a very sweet young lady who's lived next door to us since she was a little girl, since my kids were little boys. And she got sick recently and had to go, hospitalized. And when she came home the first time, I went over and I wanted to teach her how to crochet. Her thing was, while I'm home And so many people from work and her church and just acquaintance and family, she wanted to use that time to learn how to crochet. She thought it would be great to make a few things, you know, just for thank you. And so I started teaching her how to crochet, but then she had to go back into the hospital. But she's home now, and I decided, because one of the things she wanted to make was some prayer shawls to give to some of the ladies in her church, you know, the ones who really have helped her and you know, great friends. And so I thought, well, first of all, I told her as soon as she's ready, you know, let me know and we will continue, because I had already given her all the needles and some yarn, and like I say, and she had started to kind of catch on, but we'll just start from the beginning again. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just make her a prayer shawl. And this is the prayer shawl that I have worked on, that I crochet. I did it in crochet because I could really fix it like I want, you know, really crochet it like I would like to give it to her. And it was just such a pretty pattern. And as you can see from the pictures that the lead up to in the video, it's very pretty, very simple. It's just a 2-row repeat. And I did, of course, our little rows that we've done before, and I put it so that it attaches with a button, because this is on this particular pattern, you've got a lot of open space. So on the back I simply attached a beautiful gold button, and then that way you could put it any place on the prayer shawl that you would like to have it. So this is the prayer shawl that I am getting ready, and I found this beautiful box at Joann's, and I want to show it to you. Hold on. This was the box in the pictures that I took to show you. Isn't that a beautiful box? And I got it for 40% off. Isn't that gorgeous? I just couldn't, I just thought that was so pretty. It was just the right time. I have the right project. And it's just the right thing. And I thought, you know what? Not only will I give her the prayer shawl, I think I will give my friends on the YouTube channel, I think I will give you a tutorial. So, I hadn't forgot now. I know that I am knitting the sweater, and I'm just about done with it. But in the meantime, I have, I'm gonna, in the next segment of what's on my needles, it's Jay's Friendship Beautiful Prayer Shawl tutorial. And maybe there's someone in need that you know that could enjoy. No, just a kind thought. It's only 2 rows. And I think you will enjoy it. And I know she's going to love it. So, see you after the tutorial. Well, YouTube, this is Jay, and I'm going to get started on my prayer shawl for my neighbor. And like I say, it's just something that I just wanted to let her know how, you know, we're thinking about her and trying to help out as much as possible. So this is very simple, a very easy one, and as you can see, I pulled some of it over to let you see how lace it is. It's just a 2, believe it or not, 2 rows of repeat, and it gives you this really pretty lace. And so let me share with you maybe a few things. First of all, if you're going to do a prayer shawl for someone, within the hospital or nursing home or just at home, you know, that you want to give them a nice gift, think about this. If they're, you know, if they're bedridden, I really don't like to do the triangle shawls because it's so hard for them to maneuver and get all, you know, especially if they're bedridden and can't really get up or move around a lot. So think about that. You need to think about, you know, the person's condition. And if they're in a wheelchair, of course, I don't like to do the triangle type shawl because, you know, it's hard for them to not sit on it or maneuver it, or it can get caught in the chair. As well as normally I like fringe on maybe a prayer shawl. But if they're in a wheelchair bound, then that can get caught up in the wheel. So this is strictly a shoulder, just simply that will go around the shoulders, really like a shoulder warmer. And this particular pattern ends with a beautiful ruffle edge, so I don't have to do anything extra to make the neck or the edge, the top edge, because it has its own design when you end the shawl. And like I say, you can see the lace and how pretty it looks. So let's talk about what we need, the supplies. Okay, I had 2 skeins of Karen Simply Soft, and this is off-white. I believe just one skein. I used 1 skein, so this is the extra one. But make sure you have a you know, a nice full skein. And on the band, it called for an US H hook, but I don't like small hooks. This is just my preference because I know I crochet tight. So I always go up either 1 size or even 2. So my normal hooks for crocheting anything of this weight yarn is an I or a J, because I like the fabric to be very loose and very soft. I don't like things to be heavy and tight. But you can do, you know, there's no really gauge for this. You don't have to worry that much about it. It's just a nice long rectangle is all we're going to do. And since I didn't put the fringe on, I'm going to do just a simple little chain border around it to give it that lace look. So either follow the band or use whatever needle you're comfortable with. And I'm using an I hook. And let's see. Well, in our pattern, let me talk about the pattern. Now, choosing a pattern, it's good. This is when a stitch book comes in handy, because there's lots of patterns, of course, on the net, but it takes hours and hours to search for them. And if you have your own stitch books, which I love stitch books, and a lot of things that I will be sharing you as long as I'm able to do Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Mainly, it's not that I don't use patterns. I love patterns, but a lot of times, you know, I just want to get into it. You know, I get tired of looking and looking and looking. So this is just the easy way. And the pattern we're going to use, I'm going to start as I do always. I try to start on very, you know, on just some plain practice yarn. Just something that I can show you the stitch or whatever. You can really see it with no problem. So I'm just using some generic white yarn that I probably had left over from something. And the first thing you want to do, since there's not a pattern and we're not really working with a gauge, you may want to, we're going to just chain. And all I'm going to do is chain enough chains to go around my neck, go up one side, around my neck, and back down the opposite side. And decide on my own length what how long do I want this prayer shawl. Like I said, it's just one long rectangle, and of course it's hard to show you, so I'm going to double it here. I'm going to double it. Well, let me just take a little measurement. I have a tape measure here, and let's see about how long okay, this is about 25 inches. Half is about 25, so apparently I did about 50 inches. I didn't even realize I did that much. So half was about 25 inches, but you know, you just measured around you. Like I said, there's no no gauge, and you don't have to worry about, you know, whether it fits or not. Just a nice long rectangle. So, to get started, I'll read the pattern, but before that, like I said, we're just going to simply make a long chain, and with my eye or your J or whatever needle you're going to use, you just simply start chaining. And I'm telling you, you just chain and chain and chain, and then every once in a while you'll stop when it gets long enough and put it around your neck, stand up and see where it falls, see if it's long enough. Like I said, but remember, if the person's, you know, wheelchair bound or, you know, in bed, you may not want to make it so long. It just makes it harder for them to try to maneuver the press shawl, and we don't want that. We want them to enjoy it and know that we were thinking of them. So, as you see, you just chain and chain and chain. Of course, I'm just going to start it with just a few chains because this is just my sample. Just to show you the stitch, and it's a very simple. And then after you get it the length, and you measure it around your, up one side and around your neck and down the other, just put a few extra chains, and that will be your length. You know how long your press shawl rectangle will be. Okay, do that and we'll be right back. Okay, so now you have, of course, your chains, and of course you've made it to fit the length that you want your press shawl to be. And so we're going to start with row 1, and I'm just going to kind of read the pattern, kind of go through it, and then you know, we'll just take it a little at a time. It's very simple. The setup row, there's 2 pattern rows, but then of course you have this first setup row, and after you've chained the number that you need, we're simply gonna single crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. And for the, you know, people that are not sure how to count, if you just look at the top strand of each, instead of trying to find the hole, if you just look at the top strand there, that tells you that's a chain. So I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's my 6th chain right there. And I'm just going to simply do a single crochet. You don't have to wrap on a single, you just go in the hole, the chain, and then pull it through. See that? 1 single crochet in the 6th chain from the hook. Now, next thing we'll do is chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3. And in the next chain, I will do another single crochet. This is just the setup row, your first row, to get your pattern started. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're just going to go all the way across. And then skip 3. 1, 2, 3. And I do a single crochet. And you're making these little loops all the way across, see? Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in the next chain. Chain 3, skip 3. And continue. See you at the end of the row. Now, since we didn't really count chains, we're just going for length. As you come up near the end of your chain, don't worry about trying to go all the way to the end. Whatever's left over, you can always undo. Now, that doesn't work for every project, but there's just some projects sometimes that you don't need to, you know, worry about that end. So I've chained 3, and I've done a single crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready to stop instead of trying to go all the way here, because I know I don't have enough chains left. So I just simply need, after chaining 3, doing my single crochet, then I'm going to count over, I'm going to chain 1, Then I'm only going to skip one. Okay. Then I'm going to do a double crochet, which will be my edge. And we'll undo this. You simply just, when you're all done, you just undo this knot and pull it back and have the knot right there. See? So you'll go across, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, skip 3, single crochet, then you'll chain 1, skip 1, and do a double crochet to start the edge. That means we're stopping this shawl right here. Okay, so you'll simply chain 1 and turn. See how easy that is? Chain 1 and turn. Okay, so after you chain 1 and turn, now we start the actual pattern. This will be row 1. So after you chain 1, now you turn, and you're going to single crochet right here in that first double crochet right there. You're going to make a single crochet. All right? Then you're going to chain 1. And the chain 1 is always to get you over to the next place you need to go. And the next place we need to go is not in this opening, but in this large opening here. So in this large opening, I'm going to do 1 double crochet. I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to repeat that until I have 4. There's the double crochet, chain 1. Another double crochet, chain 1. I need one more, a double crochet, and chain 1. Now I have 4 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. Okay? Alright, now in the next chain 3 space right here, I'm simply going to single crochet and chain 1. A single crochet and a chain 1. The chain 1 is to get me over to the next hole, next space, which is here. So in that space I'm going to repeat 1 double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, one more, double crochet, and chain 1. The chain 1 gets me over here, so I'm going to single crochet in the next space and chain 1 and repeat. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, one more, double crochet, and chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the next space, I do a single crochet and chain 1. The next space, a double crochet, okay, and as you come up, Of course, you're going to repeat this all the way across until you have this last chain 1 space. So what you want to do is single crochet into this last post. You don't have to go into the space, because you know in crocheting we always go and we always make our stitch, our last stitch, into the post. So you're going to do a single crochet into the post, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn. Alright, get to the end, and we'll go to the next step. Row 2. Well, did you make it all the way to the end? I feel like I'm cheating since I'm doing this little sample. And of course, you're doing a long rectangle, remember? About whatever inches, whatever length you're doing. So, yes, I'm cheating a little bit, but I've already done it, remember? So, alright, so now you've gotten to the end, and you've chained 4 and you've turned, okay? Now, if you're new to crocheting, I suggest right now that you take a marker, just so that you will not have any problem discerning I call the front from the back. Sometimes on crocheting, some people can't tell, but the side we're getting ready to work on, I call the front. So that means I'm going to flip it over and put a marker, just something. I've got some cute little markers here. You can put whatever you want, a pen or whatever, so that you'll always know, okay, I'm on the front, and this is the back, and this is the front, and it may help you to kind of keep your rows straight. So we've chained 4 and we've turned. All right, now look, this is the edge here, and if you look right here, there's a nice chain space here. Well, we want to skip that one. Then there's that single crochet right there, and then there's another space here. On each side of the single crochet there's a space. Well, we want to skip both of those, and we want to go right to the next one, and we're simply going to do a single crochet there, which leaves us 2 more openings. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to skip this one in the middle and do a single crochet in the next one, and I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go again. There's the single crochet right there. There's an opening there, and there's an opening on the other side. We want to skip both of those. Skip over to the one right next to it, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip one opening and single crochet into the next one. And then you're going to do, of course, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go again. There's the single crochet of that row, and there's 2 openings, 2 spaces there. We're skipping both of those spaces, and we're going right here. In the next one, I'm going to do a single crochet and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you look, we're just making like a bridge across all of these double crochets that we did on that first row. You see, I'm just making a bridge. That's all I'm doing, bridging across. In fact, it's just a straight bridge. So I've single crochet, chain 3 here. I want to skip the one in the center, single crochet in the next one, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and remember, here's the single crochet from the row before, and those 2 spaces right beside it, skip both of those. Skip this one and skip this one, and go to the next one. And that's single crochet and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to, of course, skip the one in the center because I'm going to the next one. Okay, and then when you get to the last one, okay, I'm gonna single crochet which I did there, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do a double crochet. There's a single crochet right there. I'm going to do a double crochet right here to end it. 1 double crochet. And that's going to start the edge. See, that continues the edge up. Okay, then I'm simply going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start the repeat. And it's hard to kind of see. And let me switch to my other one. And my other yarn. I don't know if this one's hard to see. But all we're going to do now is repeat what we just did in this row right below. You see that? You're going to start a repeat. Double crochet, chain 1. Double crochet, chain 1. Double crochet till you have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. Okay, and of course, remember, we go to the next space and we single crochet and chain 1. Next, see that little space you made? That's all we did. So in the next space, you're going to do 4 double crochets and chain 1. Double crochet, chain 1, sorry. Double crochet, chain 1. Double crochet, chain 1. One more. Double crochet and chain 1. Next space, single crochet, chain 1. So now they're stacking on top of each other. You have a nice edge on this side. And continue. Okay, now right here at the edge, remember we have to make the edge stitch. But I'm going to let you catch up, because it's hard to remember sometimes the edge stitches. So I'm going to let you catch up. We're on the back side, because I had my little marker. So, back in a minute. Well, we're just doing the same repeat, row after row. And I forgot to tell you about how wide I made my shawl. Of course, you can make yours as wide, or if your person, depending on, the size of who you're giving it to. This young lady's a kind of a small petite lady, so I made mine about 17 inches wide. So my rectangle was about 50 inches long, and I have about 17 inches for the width of my shawl. So that you can adjust. You can decide. That's why I suggest to have 2 skeins, just in case if you need to make it larger. So we're just going to go ahead and continue on doing the repeat, because I want to show you how to put the little extra edge on it as we finish this up. So I'm single crocheting, then I'm chaining 3, and I'm skipping 1, and I'm going in the next space, and I'm going to chain 1, and in this single crochet right here on the edge, I'm going to do 1 double crochet, chain 1 and turn. And then when you on this side, you're going to single crochet right in that first space there, first chain, a single crochet, then chain 1. Now we're back to our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and the same repeat. Like I'm running out of practice yarn here. Double crochet, chain 1, that's 4. In the next space, single crochet, chain 1. Now we're back to the double crocheting, chain 1, Okay, single crochet, chain 1. And we're getting to the end, and this is where I want to show you, because you want to end no matter which side you're on, right or wrong, or however many rows you want to do. You need to end on a scalloped edge. That's the whole point of this shawl, too, because this really becomes like a roll collar on the shawl to roll back at the neck. So that's why I picked it. That's why I picked the design. So single crochet and chain 1. Now we're up to the repeat again. All right, next space, single crochet, chain 1. Almost to the end, chain 1. Now this space, single crochet, chain 1, and here we are. Okay, and we do our last double crochet, chain 1, and then we of course go into the edge and single crochet there, and voila, this is what you're gonna stop on. You want to stop on a scallop row, which will eventually become, you know, the part you're gonna roll back at the neck. You see that? See how pretty that looks? Okay, so, and since I didn't want to do fringe, like I say, because you don't know if the person, you know, you don't want to make it hard for the person to maneuver. So let's just look at the sample. I mean the real shawl. Here's the neck. See how pretty the neck looks, which rolls back and makes a collar. See, and you can see the pretty edging there. Can you see the pretty edging? Right there. This yarn is really, I love this yarn. It has a nice sheen to it. It's so silky and pretty. And you just, you know, it just looks really pretty. Very nice. Okay, so but this little edge is what we're going to get ready to do now. So we're not going to cut our yarn or anything. We're just going to simply start right here on this last, where we did the last stitch, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you just kind of, now this is where you can just guesstimate. That's why I say this is no pattern. You just kind of move over. You don't want to move over too far. You want to cause a nice little, and you're just going to simply do a single crochet, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find any place that you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you really want it, just don't go too far. That's you want it to kind of ruffle up. See the effect that I'm getting? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I tried to do 3 and 3 didn't stand up enough. So I pulled it out and decided on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we go. Now I'm near the corner, and I do the same. I find a place to enter. I chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going across the very bottom. You see, so really we're just going to put this little ruffle along 3 edges, 3 sides. This side along the bottom, and then back up, and we'll simply stop here. So up this side, across, and stop. And because we want this to be free to roll back as the neck. So let's continue and just kind of guesstimate where you might. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and just kind of move over. Now if the space is that far apart, you may have to just make a place right in the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you make another one, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there's the simple little ruffle. But now look, this yarn, that was just my practice yarn. It's so much prettier in this yarn because of the sheen, and of course you take your time because you're doing a beautiful project. You're not, you're not using just the practice yarn. And you see you have these nice little, almost reminds you of a picot edging, but it's not. It's just little simple chain loops. And that certainly, hopefully, wouldn't get caught in a wheelchair or, be too hard. So, as you finish up on 3 sides, then your shawl will simply be turned back to form the collar that goes around the neck. And as you look at the pictures that I'm showing, that will be right after this tutorial, you'll see how pretty. Now, this was just something I wanted to add. I just thought it was pretty. I just wanted to let her know. So I did the rows that we've done before. Or if you have another rose, another pattern, you can get them all over the net. It doesn't matter. You just want a little crocheted flower. That's all I just wanted something real simple. I put a button in the center. But because this is so lacy and you have so many nice places to put a flower, a rose, I added a shank style button on the back so that wherever you want to add this flower, this rose, all you have to do is just go right into one of the openings. Just stick the button from the back, on the back side of the rose, through an opening anywhere, and voila. And then you can have your rose anywhere on it, on the shawl that you like. Isn't that pretty? Well, I hope she enjoy wearing this. I hope she knows that I really wanted to give her something nice, and I think she's gonna look pretty. What do you think? Well, you know what? I think I'll drink a cup of tea to that. What do you think? Nothing better than a good cup of tea and a beautiful friendship prayer shawl for a friend. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And from Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, see ya!